All right, we got a lot of weather to talk about. It's kind of a big weather week, maybe even beyond that, only because this event, this heat event in California, in San Francisco, the Bay Area, the Central Valley, is, in my tenure, I haven't seen one quite this robust in terms of duration and temperatures. This heat, especially in the Central Valley, wants to last for an entire week and maybe beyond that. 7, 8, 10 more days. That means above 100 degrees in the eastern Sacramento, San Joaquin valleys. In the Bay Area, we have an extreme heat warning that stays in effect through a week from today and could maybe go longer. We'll see. Or it could go shorter. You never know. Hopefully go shorter. And then you've got a red flag warning that's going to last through Friday in parts of the Bay Area and in the northern valleys. So here's the Thompson fire, which is what is tip of tongue, only because it's big. It's reminiscent a little bit. It's right next to Paradise. I can see Paradise actually. Can you see it? No, you can kind of see the background. Paradise is up in the hills behind this, up by on the other side of the Feather River Canyon. This is Lake Oroville. That bridge you see is the Bidwell Bar Bridge. This fire grew rapidly yesterday, extremely in a few hours. It gained 1,000 to 2,000 acres. It slowed down a bit today. It's around 3,000, 3,500 acres right now. It's moved into more of a more rural environment, which is maybe easier for the air attack. But either way, it's reminiscent of Paradise only because of the type of fuels that are burning. Maybe not as many pine trees, but you got your oaks and you've got your dry grass and you've got an elevation. It's about 1,000 feet lower than Paradise where this fire, maybe 2,000 feet lower than Paradise. So, and it's in an area that's sort of funnily for wind, the Sacramento Valley. So the winds aren't horrible. There is a red flag warning, but the winds I'm seeing some gusts to 20, but in a firestorm, the winds are gusting 45, 50, 50. 20 is not, by stretch of the imagination, helpful. Here is the fire zone, and you can see the red areas, these areas here representing these kind of areas. These are the hot spots for sure. You've got evacuation zones. There's been a ton of mandatory evacuations. The winds, if you can see these little arrows, see them? And they're vectors. So meaning that the length of that arrow represents, or the thickness of that arrow represents the velocity. And so it's not really, we're not seeing any massive wind flow. At some of the surface observations, I did see some pretty significant wind flow. This is the smoke from the fire. First thing you see here is fog. Then you see smoke coming from the valley fires. You look at it all the way offshore. So that's the visible satellite showing smoke. And if I come back here, what I can do is, we'll do this move. I think I can do this. Let's see. I always struggle with this app. Let's see. Okay, there it is. So if I come in, I think we can still see it. Yeah, so there's the Thompson fire there. If you look, you can see it kind of right in here. There it is. And there's other fires burning in the valley, but that's the one producing the most smoke. And you notice from the smoke plume which way the winds are blowing, right? So you can see that the winds are kind of coming in that direction as they blow towards us. So with that in mind, we go up to the fire. We go looking at the observation map, which I talk about all the time. Of course, this is at about 12:30, 1 o'clock this afternoon. You can see what can you see? You pick out, first of all, you probably know that that's temperature and wind direction, 91 degrees. Winds are 15 miles an hour out of the northwest. That northwest represents, which is interesting because the smoke plume, but that's at a higher elevation, is blowing towards the north. It's more of a northeast wind. But you can see here at the surface, you've got a southwest wind, and temperature is 101, and that's a westerly wind. And then here's a more of a northeast wind. So the winds are kind of variable. This is the strongest, one of the stronger winds, 24 mile an hour gusts. So the winds are not helping. The air quality in the fire zone, it'll update here in a minute. You can kind of see the yellows. You can see where the air is not great. Bay Area air quality isn't horrible, but we are seeing some smoke drift in. By tomorrow morning, these areas in the valley, that smoke is going to settle down. And when it settles down, as you know, it sets down and you get in a situation where the air quality will be kind of skanky tonight and probably tomorrow morning, next couple mornings. I want to show you this. I'm going to just go through real quick. This is 24-hour period after 24. See that white thing that keeps pulsing up? That's the heat dome. I mean, that's temperatures over 100 degrees. We're all the way into the 10th of July. Now we're all the way into the 12th of July. And the one thing I want you to point out is right here, that little notch, that's us. That's the Bay Area. When I say us, it's the Bay Area where I where I live, but it's not as hot because you're in a situation where you've got a little bit of a sea breeze. Not a lot of fog, maybe some patchy fog, but there'll be a sea breeze that will impact us. But as you look at this day after day, I mean, it's a model, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's a lot of heat. We are on to July 15th. So we'll see. I don't know if that's going to go down, but something to pay attention to. So what I'm saying here is this is a long race. This isn't a 3-day heat wave and done, which is not almost always, but the majority of the time, that's what we get. This is a big deal in terms of heat, and we know that heat impacts people and their health. We know that the heat impacts the air quality, which in turn impacts people and their health. We know that when it's 100 degrees in downtown San Jose, down on the pavement, it's probably 120 degrees, 125 degrees, 130 degrees on the pavement. So your little pooch or unhoused people, if they can't get out of the sun, you're getting in your car at the shopping center, all these things. And of course, people flush to the beaches, and the beaches are a great source of relief, and they will be a great source of relief, but please, please, please be careful. You can see the swells come up a little bit. It looks placid, but I did this earlier, but I can pick out a rip current. There's a rip current right here. You can't really see it. See that white water? And it's like there. So there's rips. That just pulled that camera up rando. So there's rip currents and the whole thing. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go day by day. There will be some breaks on Thursday in terms of some cooling, mild cooling. So instead of 104 or 105 in Concord, maybe you go to 100 degrees or maybe 98. But not 108, 110 like we're seeing today. Today's going to be the hottest day of the week, most likely. So there you go. That's the forecast, and that's what we're looking at right now. I'll have an update hopefully tomorrow.